I was sipping coffee on my porch, the Montana sunrise turning the Bitterroot Peaks gold, when two sheriff's SUVs roared up my mile-long drive, dust flying like they were chasing a fugitive. Out stepped Evelyn Evie Caldwell, HOA president, pointing at me like I was public enemy number one, claiming I'd set a fire threatening her precious Pineview estates. All because I wouldn't sell her my 12,000-acre ranch for a measly $15,000. Then my son, Deputy Matt Larson, climbed out of the second rig, his cop face melting into a mix of confusion and "Dad, what now?" And in that moment, Evie's lie unraveled, landing her in cuffs and me with a story that'd shake our valley, though I'm still watching for the next Evie to try me. I'm Tom Larson, a 62-year-old rancher who's worked this land in Bitterroot Valley, Montana, my whole life, just like my dad and granddad before me, raising cattle, fixing fences, and keeping the place that's been ours for a century. I bought this 12,000-acre spread to stay free from the Pineview HOA's grip. A new development of cookie-cutter houses that sprouted on old Jensen's pasture, barely touching my eastern fence. Evie, a slick ex-lawyer from Seattle with a senator cousin and a Mercedes that screamed, "I'm better than you," saw my ranch as a prize to snatch, her low-ball offer a slap to my family's legacy. What started with petty fines escalated to a fake 911 call, but with my son's badge, my paper trail, and a town tired of her games, I turned her scheme into her downfall. Here's how it went down. A tale of grit, truth, and a deputy who just happened to be my kid, proving some fights are worth every scar. Pineview Estates popped up like a weed, 40 tidy lots where sagebrush used to roll. Their HOA leash Evie wielded like a whip, finding folks for wrong shutters or kids' bikes. My ranch, with its barbed wire and grazing herds, was a thorn in her side, a wild patch she couldn't tame. I'd picked this land for its freedom, no suits telling me how to run my place, but Evie didn't care about deeds or history. She'd roll into town, her blonde bob a fortress, barking about organic mulch costs or zoning laws, her husband Walt trailing like a whipped dog, lugging her purse, I screaming for escape. I'd seen her at the co-op, griping about feed prices. But our paths didn't cross until a letter landed in my box, thick paper, Pineview HOA seal, demanding I swap my fence for white vinyl to match their community aesthetic. I chuckled, tossed it in the trash. My land's not theirs, never was, never will be. A week later, Evie's Mercedes crunched up my drive, ignoring the no trespassing sign older than my truck. I was wrenching a busted axle on my Ford when she strode over, linen suit crisp, gold bracelets jangling. "Mr. Larson, I presume," she said, like she was gracing me with her presence. "I'm Evelyn Caldwell, Pineview HOA president. We need to discuss your unsightly fence." I wiped grease on my jeans, stood tall. "Ma'am, this ranch ain't in your HOA. That fence keeps my cattle in. Been doing it for decades." Her smile tightened, like I'd insulted her dog. "Its visibility lowers our property values," she sniffed. "We expect standards." I held her gaze. "My standards are about work, not looks. Your rules don't apply here." She shifted, voice syrupy. "There's another matter, an opportunity. The HOA wants to buy your land, create a greenbelt, trails. You know, progress. We're offering $15,000 for the whole parcel." I blinked, sure I'd misheard. 15 grand for 12,000 acres, water rights, timber, road access. Land developers had thrown 8 figures at? I took a breath, kept it civil. "Evie, this ranch is my family's blood. It's not for sale, not for 15 grand, not for 15 million. Now, I've got chores." Her face went stone cold, eyes flashing. "You'll regret this, Mr. Larson. Pineview has a vision, and we will see it through." She spun, tires spitting gravel, leaving a dust cloud and a knot in my gut. This wasn't just a pushy neighbor, this was a predator, and I just waved a red flag. The next months were a slow grind of harassment. Like a mosquito you can't swat. Letters piled up, fines for overgrown grass a mile from her lots, $75 for my hay baler cluttering my own field, $100 for livestock odor offending her delicate nose. I shredded them. She had no jurisdiction, but the intent was clear: wear me down. Then came anonymous notes in my mailbox. "Your cows are noisy. Your barn's an eyesore." Pineview cars cruised my fence, phones snapping pics, folks whispering like I was a criminal for ranching. One day, fixing a post by Elk Creek, I caught 2 Pineview ladies eyeing my trees, muttering about violations. They bolted when I waved. My wife, Clara, got nervous. Tom, she's obsessed. What if she does worse? I hugged her. She's all bark, Clara. Let her try. But I wasn't naive. I moved my game cameras to the fence line, added high-res ones at the gate, all legal, all on my land, recording every snoop. I kept every letter, note, photo, logging each incident in a binder. Dad always said, good records beat good lawyers. I told my son, Matt, over supper, keeping it light. But his deputy instincts kicked in. She's a bully, Dad, he said, fork down. Keep those signs visible. Call us if she steps over. Check your deeds, too. HOAs twist anything. Next day, I hit the county office, pulling every deed, map, easement back to the 1800s. My ranch was clean. No public access. No HOA claim. Pineview's own rules stopped at their lots, a fact Evie ignored. I filed it all, my shield growing. Evie didn't quit. She doubled down. Fines came by hand now, dropped by a jittery HOA lackey who'd sprint off. Letters demanded environmental surveys or boundary checks, always circling back to her $15,000 offer, like she thought I'd crack under her paper storm. She wasn't just greedy, she was delusional, believing she could bully me into selling a legacy for pocket change. I had my lawyer, Pete Daniels, draft a cease and desist, a legal sledgehammer listing her harassment, citing trespass laws, and promising a lawsuit if she didn't stop. We sent it certified. Her signature came back. For 2 days, silence. Clara and I dared hope she'd backed off. Then came the morning that changed everything. Those SUVs tore in, lights flashing, Evie leaping out, finger jabbing. He's endangering us all. She shrieked, claiming a fire on my land was torching toward Pineview. Deputy Carter, young and tense, approached, hand near his holster. Sir, we've got a report of a major fire here. Evie wailed. Flames, smoke. He ignored my calls. I stayed calm, coffee in hand. No fire. No smoke, deputy. Look for yourself. The sky was clear, fields green, not a wisp of haze. Then Matt stepped out, badge gleaming, his face shifting from duty to disbelief. Evie didn't know him. But her smugness faltered when he spoke, voice steady. Ma'am, I'm Deputy Larson. This is my father, Tom. If there was a fire, I'd know. Her jaw hit the dirt. Your father, she squeaked. Eyes darting. I chimed in, holding my phone, audio rolling. Evie's mad I won't sell my ranch for 15 grand. This is her latest stunt. I offered my tablet. Cued to footage of her scoping my land with binoculars, no fire, no calls. Carter frowned, scanning the horizon, nothing. Ma'am, where's this fire? Evie floundered. Over there, by the trees. Maybe it's out, but it's still dangerous. Matt pressed. Which trees? Your view's blocked by the ridge. She waved vaguely, voice cracking. The wind shifted the smoke. I added. My cameras show no fire, no contact from her, just her spying an hour ago. Matt's eyes hardened. Did you enter my dad's land to check this fire? Evie shook her head, too fast. Never. I'd never trespass. Carter snorted. Her uninvited drive up months back was no secret. Matt radioed dispatch. No other fire calls, just Evie's panicked rant about huge flames. He turned to her. Voice like iron. Filing a false 911 report is a crime, ma'am. So is harassing a landowner who turned down your offer. Evie's tears came, not remorse, rage. You're ganging up because he's your dad. I'll have your badges. Carter stepped in, done. Mrs. Caldwell, your call's baseless, timed with a dispute. We've got cause to arrest you for false reporting. The cuffs clicked. Evie's wails echoing as Matt read her rights. This is outrageous. I'm HOA president, she howled, her suit rumpled, hair askew, shoved into Carter's SUV. Matt stayed stone-faced. But I caught his smirk, pride, not glee. Curtains twitched at Pineview. The gossip was already flying. I stood on my porch, coffee cold, watching her empire crack. Knowing this was bigger than a fine or a fence, it was about my land, my family, my right to say no. The fallout was swift, like a prairie fire after a dry spell. Evie's arrest for false reporting and 911 misuse, misdemeanors with bite, hit her hard. $5,000 in fines, restitution for the sheriff's response, a year's probation, and a restraining order barring her from my land. Pineview's HOA imploded. An emergency meeting, sans Evie, voted her out unanimously. Arthur Hayes, a quiet board member, took over. sending me a handwritten apology, promising to stay in their lane. Fine stopped, notes vanished, Pineview cars quit prowling my fence. Evie and Walt sold their house cheap. Fleeing to some coastal HOA, hope they're ready for her. The valley buzzed. At the feed store, folks chuckled, calling her Fire Lady. Other HOAs in the county got cautious, respecting boundaries like never before. Met's boss, Sheriff Holt, called me, voice warm. Your boy's a pro, Tom. Handled it clean, no bias, pure law. Proud of him. That hit deeper than Evie's fall. My son, standing tall, badge or not. Clara pushed for a new no trespassing sign, steel, bold, facing Pineview. Not spite, but a line in the sand. The ranch feels like mine again, cattle grazing, wind whispering, sun rising over peaks that VE's seen worse fights than this. But a new Pineview board members muttering about shared trails. Their tone too slick. I've got my binder, cameras, Matt's number, and a valley that knows my name. Was Evie a schemer or just blind to her own ego? Ever faced an HOA trying to steal your roots? Drop your stories below. I'm listening. If this ranch standoff hit you, like, share, subscribe for more real-life battles. Thanks for riding along, and I'll catch you next time.